Can you believe it's been more than 10 years since flight MH370 just vanished? It's still one of the biggest aviation mysteries of our time. But now, believe it or not, a brand new search is getting underway, and it's raising a massive question. So, let's dive in and see if this time there's actually real hope.
Right. This is the question we're all asking. After so many years, so much searching, so many dead ends, is finding it even possible anymore? Or are we just watching another shot in the dark? Well, it turns out the answer, it isn't a simple yes or no. So, get this. Maritime search experts are putting the probability of finding the wreckage somewhere between 20 and 40%. Now, that number might not sound huge, but it's not just wishful thinking. It is a hard calculation, and it's based on brand new technology and a decade's worth of data. So, no, it's not a guarantee, but for the first time, it feels like a real, tangible chance.
Okay, so to really get what that number means, here's how we're going to break it down. We'll start with the reasons for all this optimism, but then we have to face the harsh realities of the search. We'll look at the journey that brought us to this point, unpack the incredible game-changing tech they're using, and then explore what the future could hold.
First up, let's talk about the reasons to believe. What on earth makes this new attempt so different from all the ones that have come before it?
It really all boils down to three huge things. First, the technology they have now has taken a massive leap forward. We'll get into that more in a bit. Second, they're not just scanning a random, huge patch of ocean anymore. The search area is way smaller and much more precise. And this last one, this might be the most important. The company doing the search, Ocean Infinity, is doing it on a no-find, no-fee deal. That means they only get paid their massive fee if they actually find the plane. Talk about a powerful incentive to get it right.
Okay, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. For every single reason to be hopeful, there's a huge, enormous challenge standing in the way. So now we have to look at the harsh realities.
You know, the single biggest obstacle is that the crash location is still, well, it's an educated guess. A very educated guess based on complex models, but not on a final radar ping. If that model is off by even a tiny bit, they could miss the wreckage by miles. And on top of that, the floor of the Indian Ocean is an absolute nightmare. We're talking underwater mountains, deep canyons, terrain that could easily swallow up and hide any wreckage. And of course, after a decade at the bottom of the salty ocean, decay and corrosion make spotting anything that much harder.
So how do we even get to that 20 to 40% number? It didn't just pop out of thin air. It's really the result of a long, painful, and slow journey of learning from every single past attempt.
Just look at how this has evolved over the years. Way back in 2014, with a gigantic search area and pretty basic tech, the chance of finding it was maybe 5 to 10%. A couple years later, better data gave it a little bump. Then in 2018, the first robotic submarine fleet pushed it a bit higher. See the pattern? Each step was a small increase. But now, with a genuine leap in technology and a much more focused search zone, that probability has pretty much doubled from the last attempt.
And this table, well, it lays it all out so clearly. Just look at the columns. As the technology goes from low to very high, and the search area shrinks from very wide to optimized, boom, the probability steadily climbs. It just goes to show you that every past failure wasn't really a total loss. It was a data point that helped make the next try even better.
All right, let's get into the really cool stuff, the tech, because this is the single biggest factor driving all of this new optimism. And we're not talking about small upgrades here. These are total game changers.
The key piece of equipment is called Synthetic Aperture Sonar, or SAS for short. And let me put it simply, this is not your grandpa's sonar. It uses incredibly sophisticated processing to create what are basically photographs of the seafloor, slicing through total darkness thousands of meters below the surface to show you every little detail.
And here's why that makes all the difference. The old sonar used in past searches, it was like trying to find something with a blurry, out-of-focus photo. You couldn't be sure if that blob was a rock or a piece of metal. But this new SAS technology, it's like a crystal clear 4K high-definition photo. It can spot small pieces of debris and can easily tell the difference between wreckage and the natural seafloor, even in the absolute worst terrain. It's a massive upgrade.
So where does that leave us? With all this new tech and a much better idea of where to look, what could actually happen? It's really important we manage our expectations about what finding it really means.
Okay, so let's say they find it. What does success even look like? Well, it's almost certainly not going to be a preserved airplane sitting on the seafloor. Success means finding a debris field. But just finding that field would be a monumental achievement. It would finally confirm the aircraft's resting place. And what if they don't find it? Well, that doesn't mean the whole theory was wrong. It could just mean the plane is right outside the search box or hidden so deep in a trench that even this amazing new tech can't see it.
And that brings us to the most important takeaway here. You see, finding MH370 was never just a matter of searching for a longer time. It was always about waiting for that perfect moment, the moment when a breakthrough in technology happened at the exact same time as a breakthrough in location data. And this new search, it represents the very first time that those two critical things have truly, finally aligned.
And that kind of leaves us with this final thought. The point of this search isn't about being certain they'll find the plane. It's that for the first time in over a decade, there is a realistic chance. And for the families of the 239 people who were on board, that realistic chance, well, that means everything.